On August 31st, 1997, the world was plunged into shock upon learning that Princess Diana, an icon of compassion, a symbol of an unyielding heart within the royal family, had tragically passed away in a horrific car accident in Paris. Millions wept, flowers piled up outside Kensington Palace where she once lived. Amid the silence of tears and unspoken grief, perhaps no one felt more pain than her two young sons, Prince William and Harry, who suddenly lost the mother they cherished most in the world. It seemed that after more than 2 decades, all secrets had been buried with her in the simple coffin on Althorpe Island. But then a strange letter believed to have been written by Princess Diana herself to William before her death was unexpectedly revealed. Its contents not only left the British royal family unsettled, but also stunned the global public to the point of breathlessness. It was not an ordinary instruction. It was a profound, almost prophetic outpouring, a voice from beyond the grave, like a spiritual testament left by the princess for her eldest son, the future king. So what exactly did Diana write in that letter? Why did she believe only William could change the future of the royal family? And why was the letter kept hidden for so many years? Join me as we trace the clues of those final words to uncover a truth that could reshape how we view the British royal family. If you admire Diana, don't forget to like, subscribe, and embark with me on this journey to explore the secrets still left unanswered. Letters revealing Diana's heart. Letters from Diana to her friend Violet Collison shared the emotional journey of a woman maturing in both age and emotion. These personal letters were not meant for public eyes, but they offer a deep insight into the most private aspects of Diana's life. As Violet read each letter, she witnessed Diana's transformation from a young woman on the verge of marriage into a devoted mother and ultimately a woman discovering her true priorities. One letter dated July 8, 1981, drew particular attention. It was written just before Princess Diana's wedding to Prince Charles. A highly anticipated event despite all the frenzy and rush leading up to the big day, Diana's letter carried a calm and cheerful tone. She seemed unfazed by the chaos and even tried to laugh about it. At just 20 years old, she was about to take on a life-altering role, yet she didn't let the pressure dampen her sense of humor. The letter read like a casual conversation with a close friend rather than a message from a future princess preparing for a global spectacle. This highlighted Diana's rare ability to remain grounded amid all the madness. Over time, the tone of her letters changed. They became more heartfelt and positive, focusing on the simple joys of life. Her sons William and Harry became her top priority. She wrote about relatable moments any mother could understand. For example, she mentioned how William disliked vegetables and how Harry had chickenpox and couldn't stop scratching. These were not formal royal updates, but genuine stories from a mother who deeply loved her children. With each letter, Diana seemed to grow stronger in her quiet way. Once shy and lacking confidence, she became assertive and independent as a mother. If her sons needed her, she prioritized them over her royal duties. People in the palace began to notice the change in Diana. She was no longer just a princess known for her fashionable outfits. She was now a loving and dedicated mother who prioritized her children's happiness over adhering to traditional norms. From 1982 to 1990, Diana's writings reflected the changes she was undergoing. At first, she wrote about royal events and trips, but eventually she focused more on topics like William's starting school and Harry's playful nature. She cherished the small, everyday moments that truly made her happy, even when she felt lonely in the royal lifestyle. Especially when Prince Charles was away, she found comfort in watching her son sleep at night. The grandeur of the palace meant nothing compared to the simple joy she found in those bedtime rituals. By 1989, Diana's letters showed she had embraced her role as a mother more than that of a royal figure. She stopped writing about lavish events and instead wrote about the happiness she found in reading to her children, spending time with them, and enjoying their jokes. The princess, known for her glamorous media image, had become a loving mother who valued family over her royal status. Diana's true character shone through these letters. What really happened to Diana's hidden letters and what secrets were concealed within them? Diana's hidden letters, the auction that shook the world. In July 2004, at an elegant and quiet auction house in London, a surprising and poignant event unfolded. It was not lavish or ostentatious, with no glamorous lights or royal ceremonies. It revolved around a small item mentioned in a catalog, a brief description that many might have overlooked. Yet within that listing was a significant discovery: personal handwritten letters by Princess Diana. These letters were not crafted or polished by palace staff for public consumption. They were heartfelt, sincere, and genuine, and they were addressed to a specific individual, Violet Collison. Violet was not a famous figure or a member of the Buckingham Palace staff. Instead, she had been a housekeeper for the Spencer family for a long time. Even before Diana became the Princess of Wales, Violet had been part of her life. She had watched Diana grow from a shy, playful girl into a woman who fell in love and became globally famous. The letters exchanged between them were not formal royal correspondence, but heartfelt messages between two people with a close bond. The letters stood out because they were deeply personal. Diana wasn't concerned about being perfect. Her handwriting changed with her emotions. She wrote some words and drew small images on the sides like hearts and smiley faces. These letters were private, not meant for everyone to see. They were quiet moments of reflection, often written late at night when the palace was still and she couldn't keep her thoughts to herself. The auction house staff were deeply moved when they received the package containing the letters. They had handled many royal-related items in the past, such as jewelry, documents, and paintings. But these letters stood out. They had a special human quality. It felt like you could imagine Princess Diana speaking as you read the words. Her emotions, concerns, and kindness were evident in the letters. One letter stood out in particular. Diana wrote about her son, Prince William, expressing her joy in watching him sleep, seeing the smile of his late father, and hoping he would always be kind and strong. She didn't write as a royal, but as a mother, making her words touching, simple, and sincere. The auction house was careful to place the letters in protective sleeves. They knew collectors would be eager to own them, and historians would want to study them closely. These letters were not valuable just for their price, but because they offered valuable insights into Diana's thoughts and feelings. News of the letters took a while to spread widely. Some royal experts briefly mentioned them in the press. Then Diana's fans learned about them. Online debates began, and soon people from all over the world were discussing these unique messages. They resonated with an aspect of Diana that many had always suspected beneath her royal status. She was truly kind, thoughtful, and sincere. On the day of the auction, the previously quiet room was now buzzing with excitement. Reporters waited outside while bidders from around the world took their seats, all eager to know a piece of Diana's story. They didn't just want a piece of paper. They wanted connection, understanding, and truth. Why was Diana so determined to give her children a childhood far removed from royal tradition? What was she trying to protect them from? Before we explore that, let's take a closer look at Princess Diana's childhood. A fragile childhood in the shadow of royalty. Diana Frances Spencer was born on a hot summer day, July 1st, 1961, in the peaceful countryside of Norfolk. She was the fourth of 5 children of John Spencer and his wife Frances. She was born at Park House, a quiet mansion on the Sandringham estate owned by Queen Elizabeth II. Diana's family had close ties to the royal family, and her grandmothers were trusted companions of the Queen Mother. When Diana was born, her parents had hoped for a boy, but they named her Diana Frances after her mother and a distant relative who might have married into royalty in the past. As a young child, Diana was nicknamed Dooch by her family for her graceful demeanor, even before she wore elaborate dresses. She was formally welcomed into the Christian faith on August 30th, 1961, at St. Mary Magdalene Church, where many royal children had also been baptized. Diana had 3 surviving siblings named Sarah Jane and Charles. She also had a brother, John, who sadly passed away shortly after birth, just a year before Diana was born. The desire for a male heir in the family strained her parents' marriage, creating tension in their relationship. Diana spent her early years playing in the vast hallways and grassy fields near Park House. She enjoyed simple pleasures and had a close connection to the royal family. The Queen was called Auntie Lilibet by Diana, and she often played with Princes Andrew and Edward when they visited Sandringham House. These friendships were carefree and innocent, just children playing without realizing their future responsibilities. Behind the serene beauty of her childhood, home issues were brewing in her family. Diana's parents separated when she was just 7 years old, and it was a difficult time for her. Initially, Diana lived with her mother, but later her father gained custody. This change was challenging for Diana, especially as she faced many other significant changes at a young age. In 1976, her father remarried and introduced Reign Countess of Dartmouth into their family. Diana and her new stepmother did not get along. Their relationship was full of tension, and Diana struggled to accept this new person in her family. In 1960, Diana's father became the Earl Spencer, meaning Diana was referred to as Lady Diana. Her family moved from Park House to Althorpe, a large estate in Northamptonshire owned by the Spencer family for a long time. Although Althorpe was grand, Diana still felt the weight of her difficult past. She once said she had a lonely and emotionally unclear childhood. Yet the young girl with a gentle heart and kind eyes continued to grow despite it. How did Diana raise her children, and how did her approach have a lasting impact on their lives? How did Princess Diana change royal parenting forever? Princess Diana's revolutionary parenting. Prince William was born on June 21st, 1982, when Princess Diana was just 20 years old. At the time, Diana was still adjusting to becoming a member of the royal family and learning about palace etiquette. Despite her inexperience, she became the mother of a young prince. Diana's love for her child was stronger than any lack of knowledge she might have had. This love became the foundation for all her actions as a parent. From the start, Diana made surprising decisions that shocked people. She chose to keep her newborn son William in her room instead of sending him to a separate nursery, as royal tradition dictated. Diana wanted to be the one to comfort William when he cried at night, unlike royal mothers who often relied on nannies to raise their children. Diana was determined to raise her son differently from the traditional royal upbringing. She decided to breastfeed William instead of using a wet nurse as other royal families did. Some older royals thought breastfeeding was too intimate, but Diana felt it was a special way to bond with her son. She didn't care about others' opinions. She just wanted to give her son the affection he deserved. When it came time to name her child, Diana wanted a say in the decision. Instead of following tradition or taking others' advice, she chose the name William because she thought it conveyed kindness, strength, and warmth. This was just one example of how she ensured her child's life would feel real and human. Just 6 weeks after William was born, Prince Charles had to travel to Australia for royal duties. Normally, a child would be left at home, especially at such a young age. However, Diana didn't want to be separated from her son and decided to take William along. This surprised people as no royal child had ever traveled so far at such a young age. Diana didn't care about following norms. She only knew she couldn't leave William behind. As William grew older, Diana remained very involved in his care. She took care of his basic needs like changing diapers, bathing, and reading bedtime stories instead of letting staff do it. She cherished every moment with her son, no matter how mundane they seemed. Palace staff were surprised to see a royal mother so dedicated, but Diana thought being with her son was more important than focusing on her title. When William was 18 months old, Diana enrolled him in a nursery school in Notting Hill. This was a new experience for a future king, as royal children were typically taught at home by private tutors. Diana wanted her son to have a normal childhood, make friends, and learn to get along with others. She personally dropped him off and picked him up just like any other parent. Other parents were shocked to see Princess Diana lining up with them. When Prince Harry was born, Princess Diana continued to raise her children in the same way. She adjusted her royal schedule to fit her son's daily routines, prioritizing them above all else. If an evening event interfered with their bedtime, she would choose to skip it. She emphasized the importance of independence for her children by teaching them tasks like making their beds, cleaning their rooms, and cooking basic meals. Diana wanted her children to understand the value of taking care of themselves and not relying on others to do everything for them as they grew up. Palace staff recall hearing laughter echoing through the walls. Diana loved playing games like tag, hide and seek, and board games with her sons. She gave them love, attention, and happiness. Her priority was creating joyful childhood memories for her sons. While others were busy with royal responsibilities, Diana devoted herself to being a caring mother. Diana thought it was important for her sons to experience life outside the palace. She often surprised people by disguising herself with a wig and sunglasses with the help of her bodyguards so she could take William and Harry to the movies. They would sit in regular seats, eat popcorn, and watch films like an ordinary family. Once she took them to see E.T. and bought them soda and snacks. Others might find it strange, but Diana saw it as simply being a good mother. In 1993, on a rainy Tuesday, she took her sons on the London Underground, something unprecedented for a royal. She bought tickets from the machine, showed them how to pass through the turnstile, and sat with them on regular plastic seats. Other passengers were surprised, but Diana remained calm and content. She was teaching her sons a lesson about everyday life. She would take them to places like McDonald's to enjoy Happy Meals and play in the playground with other children. She also took them to homeless shelters and hospital wards to help them understand the world and its people. When William was 10, she took him to meet homeless people. She believed it was important for him to be aware of the world around him and grow up compassionate. She didn't follow the usual rules of a royal mother. She showed affection to her sons openly and would talk to them at eye level, holding their hands or hugging them. This closeness was uncommon in the royal family, and some thought it too progressive. Despite criticism, Diana didn't care and did what she felt was right. She participated in school activities and even won a mother's race at a sports day. The memory of her running and laughing with other parents stays with me. Teaching gratitude beyond royalty. On June 21st, 1989, Prince William celebrated his 7th birthday. It was a sunny, joyful day, made even more memorable by a surprise that would be remembered for a long time. To honor his birthday, a motorcycle display was organized, delighting William, his brother Harry, and their friends. The person who planned this surprise was Sergeant George Plum from the Special Escort Group. And what happened next was heartwarming. Diana, Princess of Wales, went out of her way to send a heartfelt thank you letter to Sergeant Plum. It wasn't just for show, but a genuine expression of gratitude. The letter was written on Kensington Palace stationery, but it was more personal than formal. Her handwriting was neat and gentle, reflecting her kind nature. She mentioned in the letter how thrilled the children were, how much joy the performance brought them, and how the mothers enjoyed it too. The signatures at the end of the letter made it even more special. William and Harry signed their names, showing the gratitude came from both their mother and themselves. William's handwriting was meticulous, while Harry's was more playful. Royal children didn't often sign letters, but Diana thought small gestures mattered. She wanted her sons to understand the importance of showing gratitude. The party was less formal than most royal gatherings, quite fun and relaxed. Diana organized games, laughter, and a motorcycle-shaped birthday cake. She invited William's friends, not just children from aristocratic families. William dressed casually in jeans and a sweater, looking like any other boy at a party. It was a day filled with simple joy. After the party, Diana sat with her sons and helped them write thank you letters. She showed them the importance of kindness and courtesy in everyday life. A lady-in-waiting later shared that Diana always emphasized the importance of gratitude to her sons, no matter who the recipient was. Years after it was written, the thank you letter to Sergeant Plum was auctioned. The letter remained on the same cream-colored paper with 3 heartfelt signatures. Experts verified its authenticity, and it touched the hearts of many. The letter sold for a higher price than expected, not because it came from a royal family, but because it conveyed a story of a mother teaching her sons a valuable lesson. Sergeant Plum's colleagues also recalled that day. Diana invited the officers for tea after the motorcycle display. She was warm and made them feel at home. William, who was very curious, asked the officers many questions about their motorcycles with great excitement. The letter meant more than just words on paper. It captured a touching moment of a young mother and her 2 sons expressing gratitude. Despite her unstable marriage, how did Diana manage to shield her sons from this reality and protecting her sons amid a failing marriage? In the early 1990s, Diana faced a very difficult period in her life due to her crumbling marriage to Prince Charles. Their troubles were highly public, with intense media scrutiny and coverage of every detail. In 1992, it was officially announced that Diana and Charles would separate when their 2 sons, William, aged 10, and Harry, aged 8, were still quite young. Although the boys might have sensed something was wrong, they were not old enough to fully grasp the extent of the situation. Diana understood that this challenging time would significantly impact their future. During this trying period, Diana focused on her sons and tried to shield them from sadness, providing them with a happy and loving childhood. She turned Kensington Palace into a warm, family-oriented environment. Apartment 8 was not just a royal residence, but a true family home. Diana ensured the place was always filled with joy by bringing in items the boys loved, like video games, sports equipment, and a popcorn machine for movie nights. The apartment served as a haven of calm and normalcy amid external stresses. Diana carefully chose schools that could provide emotional support for William and Harry. She selected Ludlow Grove School for William because the headmaster had experience with children from divorced families. Diana met with teachers before the school year began to ask them to watch for any signs of distress in her sons. She always planned ahead and tried to keep them safe. In a public interview in June 1994, Charles admitted to infidelity. Diana was hurt, but she prioritized her sons. She turned off the TV that night and played board games with them. The next day, she personally drove them to school to prevent them from seeing hurtful headlines in the newspapers. When Diana gave an interview in November 1995, she ensured William and Harry were at school. Afterwards, she spoke to each of them privately, explaining things in a way they could understand. Despite her pain, she refrained from speaking negatively about their father. She prioritized kindness and her children's happiness above all else. After Diana's divorce in August 1996, she lost her title of Her Royal Highness, but retained the title of Princess of Wales. This meant she had to curtsy to more people, even her sons. While it seemed like a small change, it represented a significant shift in her life. However, she didn't let it bother her and continued to be a devoted and loving mother. She did her best to provide William and Harry with a stable life. She ensured their daily routines were maintained and made time for them to see their father and grandmother, the Queen. Despite having fewer security resources, she found ways to keep them safe. She would take them out early in the morning to avoid crowds, and she built close relationships with shopkeepers who would let them in through back doors unnoticed. During this time, Diana frequently wrote about her sons. She expressed her desire for William to become a compassionate and introspective leader and hoped Harry would find his own path in life. Despite her struggles, she remained resilient for her children. She maintained a positive demeanor in front of others, but allowed herself to release her emotions privately. Although Diana passed away suddenly, she left a final gift for her sons. What did this letter reveal? And why was it kept hidden? Diana's final wishes for Prince William. Princess Diana made a will in 1997 before her death, detailing her wishes for her son's future. The document, signed in 1993 and updated in 1996, showed her care and affection for Prince William and Prince Harry. It also demonstrated her careful planning to provide for them after her passing. The will stated that her two sons would receive the majority of her estate. She requested that her personal belongings, such as jewelry, clothing, family photos, and mementos, be given to William and Harry. Diana's assets held sentimental value, and she wanted her sons to have them as they grew up. Initially, her will stated that both boys would receive their inheritance at age 25, but this was later changed to 30 to give them more time to mature responsibly. Prince William received his share of Diana's estate when he turned 30 in 2012, and its value had grown over time. He received more than money from Diana's estate. He also inherited sentimental items like letters, mementos, and jewelry. These items held meaning for him beyond their financial value. Some of them became part of his life, with his wife Catherine reminding him of his mother despite her passing years earlier. He also received reminders of Diana's kindness and compassion, such as photos and favorite gifts from people she had helped. These small keepsakes reminded him of his mother as a caring and dedicated parent, rather than the public figure others saw. Although there was an official will, it reflected his mother's desire for her sons to always feel connected to her. Beyond her estate, she also left behind her love memories and strength. Prince William carried these into his life lessons. Princess Diana's lasting legacy. Many thought Princess Diana would fade from public life when she stopped performing official royal duties. But she didn't. Instead, she focused on causes she cared about and used her status to make a difference in personal and meaningful ways. Although she reduced the number of charities she worked with, Diana continued to support those that mattered to her, such as Centerpoint, a charity for homeless youth, and organizations like Great Ormond Street Hospital, Royal Marsden National AIDS Trust, and Leprosy Mission. Her dedication to helping those in need was evident in her actions, not just in her association with these charities. Diana made an effort to visit patients, talk to families, and offer comfort, showing her deep empathy. Even after stepping back from public life, she continued to demonstrate her commitment to helping others. She proved you don't need a crown to make a difference and show kindness. However, life outside the royal family was challenging. Diana often felt vulnerable and lonely without the constant protection of palace life. Her two sons, William and Harry, were her main source of support. She prioritized their education regularly, meeting with their teachers and attending their school events. Being a mother was always her top concern. Behind closed doors, Diana confided in close friends about her worries and fears, especially regarding her safety. The exact details of these conversations are unclear, but they reveal the intense pressure she faced during that time. In her final year, Diana made a bold statement by visiting Angola in January 1997 with the International Red Cross. Wearing protective gear, she walked through a minefield to raise awareness about the dangers of landmines, drawing global attention to an urgent issue that demanded immediate action. In her final months, Princess Diana focused on preparing her sons, William and Harry, for the future she envisioned, and for them, one dedicated to serving others with compassion and becoming leaders. She wanted her sons to realize that being a leader meant supporting and helping others, not just holding power. Tragically, Princess Diana passed away in a car accident in Paris on August 31st, 1997, leaving behind her sons William at 15 and Harry at 12. Princess Diana's letter, though only a few handwritten pages, carried the weight of a heart that had endured heartbreak, betrayal, and isolation in the dazzling world she once lived in. In the letter, Diana not only expressed her love for William, but also urged him to hold fast to his conscience, compassion, and courage to change the palace from within. A message almost prophetic for the future of the royal family. Now, as William steps closer to the throne, the question is no longer whether he will become king, but what kind of king he will be. A conservative king who upholds tradition, or a reformer embodying Diana's spirit, approachable, compassionate, and unafraid to challenge the old ways. The future of the British royal family in the years to come will be shaped by the very son Diana always placed her faith in. And perhaps that letter will serve as a silent compass guiding William, amid countless gazes, expectations, and the heavy pressure of the crown upon his head. If you believe that Diana's spiritual legacy lives on in William, join us for the stories to come.